Okay, meron ho bang mekanismo ngayon ng ombudsman para ma-monitor ang lahat na kasong lumalampas na sa what we can consider as reasonable period para ito ay maresoldahan? Is there a mechanism, monitoring mechanism, para naiiwasan na po yung mga unnecessary and unfortunate dismissals simply because of inexcusable delay?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, according to the Office of the Ombudsman, they have mechanisms to monitor the status of cases of which when was it filed, and they keep a monthly inventory of the cases to track its record, whether in what stage the case is.
Again, please include that in that paper. Also, the lifestyle check on public officials. I know this has been actually touched already by Representative Tinio. At alam po natin na noong August 27 lamang noong 2025, nag-utos ang Pangulong Marcos na magkaroon ng lifestyle checks sa lahat ng public officials, bunsod ng itong napakalaking kontrobersya natin sa mga infrastructure, flood control project corruption. Ano po ang posisyon ng Office of the Ombudsman patungkol sa direktibang ito? At ito po ba ay inyong ginagawa na? At meron ho ba kayong pondo para dyan o limitado yung pondo at personnel ng Ombudsman to be able to do the lifestyle checks? In the first place, ay hindi ba? Can you just please educate us? Ito po bang policy and the program of lifestyle checks, kailan pa po ito nagsimula? Was there any period na the Ombudsman actually has stopped doing all this lifestyle checks? I remember in 2020, noong taong 2020 po, the former Ombudsman Samuel Martires, pinatigil po yung lifestyle checks sa mga opisyal ng gobyerno at kwestiyon ang logic ng paggawa nito. Is this still the policy or the position of the current leadership of the Ombudsman?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, the conduct of lifestyle checks didn't stop.
They didn't stop, notwithstanding that directive of the former Ombudsman Martires. Is that it?
According to the Office of the Ombudsman, they still assess the conduct of lifestyle checks. If there's an anonymous tip, they validate the tip if there is a lead. But as much as possible, they don't want a fishing expedition to happen. That's why there's a limited number of lifestyle checks done per each year, Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague.
So, lifestyle check was still being conducted in spite of that 2020 directive of the former Ombudsman. Is that correct? So are we to understand that the rest of the Ombudsman
Yes, Mr.
defied that directive of the former Ombudsman?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, they just stopped the fishing expeditions, those which are trivial in nature, those that come from anonymous tips that have no leads.
Kasi yun ata yung naging isa sa mga so-called rational ng dating Ombudsman. Although he considers the lifestyle check as something illogical, and I don't also understand that explanation. How can a lifestyle check be considered as illogical? So at least I'm pleased to learn now that lifestyle checks are still being done. And there are, I think, parameters, guidelines, specific guidelines about the conduct of lifestyle checks,
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I suppose. Meron po.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, they just want verifiable or validated lead on whether to conduct the lifestyle check. Some, according to the Office of the Ombudsman, some of them files anonymous tips, but they have no lead, so they don't have anything to base on to conduct the lifestyle check. As
So
long
only
as
in,
there is a
only
lead,
in those cases, but as a matter of general policy, lifestyle check. We
Yes.
just want it to be clarified for the record that lifestyle checks are still being done, and I say more so now that you would expect a lot of complaints, a lot of cases to be filed before the office on account of the ongoing investigations on the infrastructure projects.
yes,
Correct?
Mr. Speaker, there are ongoing lifestyle checks now.
But I do wish we can have in black and white the guidelines on the conduct of lifestyle checks of the Office of the Ombudsman, if there is such guidelines.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, they will provide them.
Okay. I noticed po sa BARC report, the BARC, as you know, is the Budget Amendment Revision Subcommittee. And they came out with a list of agencies to which additional funds were provided. And these funds were taken from the 255.5 billion previously granted to the DPWH. And these were the allocations for this questionable, anomalous flood control projects. At isa po sa mga beneficiaries of that reallocation of the DPWH flood control projects is the Ombudsman. And if, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Speaker and the distinguished sponsor, that actually the total amount augmented or added to the budget of the Ombudsman from the NEP and the GAA after the BARC is 280 million pesos.
That is correct, Mr. Speaker.
That is correct. And one of the items funded from, or being funded from that additional budget is the creation of Ombudsman Assistance Centers. Would you confirm that?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And we note that the Office of the Ombudsman has been active in the creation of Ombudsman Assistance Centers, which are physical locations established by the Office of the Ombudsman to bring frontline services closer to the public by allowing clients to file complaints, submit SAL-N, and process Ombudsman clearances. Now, these offices are located in Pasay City, Rojas City, Zamboanga City, Tuguegarao City, and in Paticul, Sulu. The Office of the Ombudsman also has offices in the cities of Davao, Cebu, Iloilo, Cagayan de Oro, Calbayog City, and Tacloban. Question: does the Ombudsman think the Ombudsman Assistance Centers and other Ombudsman offices constructed so far have been sufficient? And have the performance indicators of the Ombudsman improved with the construction of these Ombudsman Assistance Centers? Because we want to know whether really justified po yung pagdagdag ng pondo para sa Ombudsman Assistance Centers, and perhaps if you would be needing more funds for that.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, as of now, the nature of transaction in the Ombudsman Assistance Centers are usually the filing of SAL-Ns, Ombudsman clearances, a filing of complaint and request for assistance. So there are a total of the general public access the office, the Ombudsman Assistance Centers. As for SAL-N, for the whole OACs, the filing of SAL-Ns as per year during this year, it amounts to 647. The Ombudsman clearances, 747. The filing of complaints, 56. And request for assistance, 323. But the purpose of the OAC is to speed up the investigation. As of now, there are no lawyers in the Ombudsman Assistance Centers, the Office of the Ombudsman wants to designate a lawyer to speed up the investigation. They will be the ones to initially investigate
And that was
the.
part of the budget. And that was part.
Yes.
Is that being funded already under the additional funds
Yes.
from the Bar C?
Yes.
From the Bar C list? I
Yes,
suppose
Madam.
so.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And it's okay with the ombudsman. These are sufficient enough for this ombudsman assistance centers. And a corollary question would be, does the Office of the Ombudsman plan to construct more of such ombudsman assistance centers?
Well, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, ideally, they want to have one for each province.
How many?
One for each province. For the
One
82,
for each province. And
for the
we have
82
80 plus provinces.
Ideally, but
Ideally. Hindi kaya ng budget pa.
hindi pa po, Mr. Speaker.
I don't
dear
think
colleague.
it can be accommodated at this point. I don't think it can be considered within the fiscal space
Yes,
of the government. So perhaps next year you can again propose for additional ombudsman assistance centers. Now you mentioned about the SAL-N, and that was touched also by Representative Tino. I just want really to be clarified. So did I hear it right? That there is an ongoing review of that order of the former Ombudsman Martires, of Ombudsman Martires, restricting the disclosure or release of SAL-Ns under restrictive requirements?
Mr.
That's under
Speaker,
review.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, according to the Office of the Ombudsman, they are still deferring the direction of the policy to the next ombudsman, the one to be appointed.
Yes. So
It's still standing as of now.
So it's
Mr.
status
Speaker.
quo, meaning the Martires directive on the restrictions about the release of SAL-Ns is still at play, is still effective.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague.
May I know the position of the acting ombudsman? I know that it will be done by the decision whether or not to take it back, to recall, or to reverse that highly questionable directive would fall into the next regular ombudsman. But I think the acting ombudsman would have a position on the matter.
As for the position of the acting ombudsman, Mr. Speaker, they maintain the position of the
It
former.
maintains. So I would take it that the ombudsman as an institution, the rest of the offices of the Office of the Ombudsman, the directors there, the lawyers there, they are also one in their position, that the Martires directive on the SAL-Ns deserve to be maintained at this point?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, they still maintain that position.
Ano po?
They still maintain that position of the Memorandum Circular number 1.
They maintain that position. Okay. I still have enough time, but I will just be touching on just one matter. I have come across reports, recent reports, saying that the Office of the Ombudsman issued an order which gives evaluators or investigators a wider latitude to recommend the outright dismissal of the criminal and administrative aspects of a particular case. And I learned that it's the Office Order number 301, series of 2025, dated September 17, 2025. And I do not know whether it's been published or posted already on the website of the Ombudsman. We were trying to look for it. I just got this from someone. Does the distinguished sponsor confirm the existence of this recent Office Order number 301, series of 2025, dated September 17, 2025?
Mr. Speaker, yes, they confirmed that
They
there is an
confirmed.
existing
Does the
office order.
distinguished sponsor also confirm that this particular order has not been published or posted on the official website of the Office of the Ombudsman? And if not, why not?
Mr. Speaker, intranet po.
And who issued that office order? Okay, first, the pending question, na-publish na ho ba?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, they published it within their organization daw po, intranet.
It's an internal order.
Yes.
How can an order like this be simply internal? It has to do about disposition of cases. Because as I said, it granted evaluators or investigators greater discretion to recommend the outright dismissal of both the criminal and administrative aspects of cases. So this has something to do also with the disposition of cases. It's just like also the dismissal of cases under preliminary investigation. So bakit mo kailangang internal ito? And when you say internal, confidential? Is there such a thing within the Office of the Ombudsman? Who authorized the order? Who issued the order? And what was the justification for this significant policy shift?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, it was the acting ombudsman who issued the office order.
I understand the predicament of the distinguished sponsor, because I think it's the very first time that he's heard of this. Di ho ba? First time. Kasi nga, mukhang internal lang. So, kaya nagtataka po ako dito sa order na ito. How does this new policy align with the constitutional mandate of the Ombudsman to act promptly on complaints of graft and corruption, especially in the light of massive issues of corruption our country faces today? Hindi ho ba ngayon mas mas open tayo, mas transparent tayo, mas maging receptive tayo sa mga sari-saring complaints, including anonymous complaints, kasi meron namang particular office in the Office of the Ombudsman who can verify the allegations in this anonymous complaint. So bakit parang contrary, misaligned sa current situation natin ngayon?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, according to the Office of the Ombudsman, nawala daw po kasi yung evaluation stage ng
Ano po?
nawala daw po yung evaluation stage before, binalik lang daw po nila ngayon.
So there used to be an evaluation stage and you are just reviving the same.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague.
Is that correct? Walang evaluation stage dati? In any administrative, adjudicatory, or quasi-judicial bodies, there's always an evaluation stage.
So, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, according to the Office of the Ombudsman, there was a time when a memorandum circular was issued that removed the evaluation stage. It is only now that they reinstated that rule that that there should be an evaluation stage.
Okay. So assuming na pinapatupad na talaga yan, although I'm still actually questioning the wisdom of that, in light of, it's rather bad timing. Meron mo bang safeguards in place to prevent abuse, such as requiring concurrence by higher officials or review by independent oversight bodies? Is there a mechanism, internal mechanism, para maiwasan yung abuses na first base pa lang dinidismiss na?
According, Mr. Speaker, according to the Office of the Ombudsman, there are mechanisms that are in place that will prevent abuse. So from the evaluators, it will go up to the Deputy
Oh, so
Ombudsman.
part of the mechanisms are actually internal legal remedies within. And these are available to seek review or appeal of such dismissals. Meron po ba? Pag na dismissed outright at that level, the evaluation stage, yung complainant po ba may right to avail of any remedy within the ombudsman
Uh,
to question that?
yes, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, there's an appeal within the ombudsman. If there is an outright dismissal, there can be a motion for reconsideration according to the Office
Last
of the Ombudsman.
question. Wouldn't you agree na pag meron pong ganyan na pagbabago sa internal processes, kailangan ho ba ng isang statutory process or amendment perhaps on the Ombudsman Act? Would you be open to that? Or would you be proposing that to be part of the rules? Either the rules or the law itself, instead of just relying on such issuance. Hindi ho ba mas maganda since ito ay pagbabago ng isang proseso within, kailangan ng amendments on the rules or the law itself?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, they maintain the position that they are allowed to maintain such rules. There is no need to amend the ombudsman law or to institutionalize the rules.
So they're amenable.
Yes.
You need not answer now. Maybe they need time to think about that. It's an unsolicited advice, actually. Hindi ho ba mas maganda? So again, you need not answer that, but I'd appreciate it if we can have some response from the Office of the Ombudsman in the next few days. Thank you very much. That's all for me. Oh,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
meron pa akong 26, 4 minutes. Isang pahabol pong tanong. How many preventive suspensions have been issued and how many have been implemented in the last 5 years? And we also notice a surge of preventive suspensions, especially in the period approaching elections. Nagtataka po kami doon. And then some of them are not implemented. So two-pronged questions, two questions with that on that regard. Number one, is that normal na during an election period, a few weeks or even days before election day, ay meron mga successive issuances of preventive suspensions? And we cannot deny that yung mga ganyan nakaka-apekto sa electoral chances of the public officials concerned who happen to be candidates during the election.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague,
Maganda. Tanong.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, according to the Office of the Ombudsman, they are not covered by the election ban.
Yeah, I know. I know it's not covered within the election ban. But I'm questioning the propriety and the timing of some of those cases of preventive suspension, lalo na yung mga kandidato. And sometimes, yung mga kandidato are perceived to be winnable. And yet, last minute, pinapasuspend preventively. So isn't there some political motivations. On certain cases, hindi ko po sinasabi lahat yan, politically motivated. Nakakaduda lang po yung mga ganyan na mga, bakit not months earlier than the start of the election period? Bakit bigla na maiisipan na mag-i-issue ng preventive suspensions?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, according to the Office of the Ombudsman, they maintain the position that is within the discretion of the Ombudsman as to when the preventive suspension will be imposed, as, as long as there is a basis of law or an alleged infraction of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, they preventively suspend.
Yes, we know that. Okay, so unsolicited advice, kung pwede po sana, internally, you re-examine the kind of policy. Baka naman yung ibang mga kaso dyan, matagal na mga final. Tapos biglang binubuhay dahil election period na at biglang isi-suspend preventively. I'm not talking about any particular candidate here. It's just really top of mind issue. Di ho ba? So yun po ang pakiusap ko. If yung Office of the Ombudsman as an institution, if you can please review that policy. Hindi po magandang tingnan. Thank you very much. That's all for me. Mr. Speaker, thank you, the distinguished sponsor, and to the Ombudsman. Thank you.
Thank
Majority
you,
Leader.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague.
Mr. Speaker, last to interpolate the sponsor, I move to recognize Representative Luis Co from Kabataan Party List.
Representative Rene Luis Co is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Magandang araw po sa kagalang-galang na sponsor at ang staff ng Office of the Ombudsman. The Ombudsman is tasked to investigate and provide convictions sa mga ating mga public officials that are accused of, and may possibly findings na may wrongdoings silang ginagawa. That's why the budget here, we're going through it dahil in these unique and pressing times ay napakahalaga po ng role ng ombudsman. We'd just like to highlight, similarly sa bahagi po ng kabataan, kung gaano po tinitignan yung kahalagahan ng ginagawa ng ombudsman. Ang unang tanong ko po is, how many administrative or criminal cases are currently pending at the Office of the Ombudsman? I'm sure over the years, marami pong nag-file, maraming naghihintay, may mga pending na mga complaints. Ilan na po ba ang pending sa Office of the Ombudsman as we speak po, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, as of July 2025, the number of pending cases in criminal cases is at 1,320. For forfeiture cases, it's at 4. And for administrative cases, it's at 1,578. Totaling to 2,902.
Sir, as of July, how many po? 1,000?
For as of July 2025, totaling 2,902 for forfeiture, administrative, and criminal cases. Criminal cases, 1,320. Forfeiture cases, it's at 4. And administrative cases at 1,578.
Of these cases po, Mr. Speaker, how many have been pending for a period of 5 years?
Uh, uh, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, for criminal cases that is pending for more than 5 years, it's at 420 criminal cases. For future, there's no at least one. Uh, one.
One po.
One, dear colleague, Mr. Speaker. And for administrative, the number of pending cases would be 467.
467 po. Pwede po bang matanong ang Office of the Ombudsman kung bakit po pending pa ang mga kaso na ito? In total, this is around 489 cases in the docket of the Office of the Ombudsman waiting to be resolved, no? Ano po yung kahirapan na na-experience ng Office of the Ombudsman? Bakit po tumatagal yung pag-resolve ng cases na ito?
Well, according to the Ombudsman, the Office of the Ombudsman, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, there are still issues being resolved. That's why it's taking a lot of time to dispose of the cases.
At ano po ba yung average time of disposal of cases ng Office of the Ombudsman? Siyempre, as years go by, these officials, no, nag-iiba po yung stations nila, they could be retired, nag-iiba rin yung circumstances ng mga complainants. Some of them, nahihirapan na mag-pursue ng case further. Meron din po, unfortunate, no, namamatay, hindi po nahihirapan mag-proceed yung case. Gusto natin, mabilisang nare-resolve ng Office of the Ombudsman yung cases niya. That's why we provide, no, the budget, the resources to be able to do that. So, we'd like, no, to highlight kung bakit may kahirapan. Sana walang kahirapan. And ano yung nagiging reason for these delays, if any?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, as of now, among the issues confronting the Office of the Ombudsman regards the conduct of investigation, that's why it's taking a lot of time for the disposition of cases, are the limited number of lawyers who conduct fact-finding, the voluminous documents, considering that cases pertaining to graft and corrupt practices are largely based on documentary evidence, the updated procedures prescribed by the Supreme Court, like the taking of judicial affidavits prior to filing of information, the tracking of complainants, the non-cooperation of witnesses, and according to the Office of the Ombudsman, the laws on graft and corruption needs to be updated. Since in most instances, judicial interpretation of the elements of the crime becomes the law of the land, while respondents have already found ways to circumvent the law.
Mr. Speaker, we are precisely aware of the sensitive nature of corruption cases na a lot of times witnesses are intimidated into silence, no, or disappearance. Documents are also being shredded, no? May mga ganong reports na nga po that DPWH officials are doing that. Mas nahihirapan yung gawain ng ICI, which makes conviction, going after corruption, much more difficult. Ano po ba yung ginagawa ng Office of the Ombudsman? Na-mention po na isa sa mga issues na hinaharap is yung kahirapan mag-track ng complainants. Ano po bang mga procedures, practices para maprotektahan ng witnesses, ma-ensure na hindi sila na-intimidate into silence, compromised, and the like po ba, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, according to the Office of the Ombudsman, that's why they impose preventive suspensions to secure the evidence and to also secure the witnesses.
Okay. Tama po, no? We've heard na may mga preventive suspensions nangyari, pero that's on the part of the accused, no? Paano po yung protections to the witnesses? Meron po bang proactive steps na ginagawa ang ombudsman to be able to do that?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, according to the Office of the Ombudsman, they don't have any witness protection program. It's within the DOJ.
Yes.
Although in some instances, they may provide immunity when it is necessary.
Paano po ba nagko-coordinate ang DOJ and Ombudsman to be able to provide yung mga witnesses to cases to the witness protection program ng DOJ?
So, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, according to the Office of the Ombudsman, they have a standing memorandum of agreement with the DOJ regarding these matters or procedures. So they're closely working with the DOJ in these cases wherein the witnesses, wherein they think the witnesses are qualified to be under the witness protection program.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, we'd like to request copies po of the data that has been provided in this line of questioning, no, yung mga cases that have been pending, no, yung criminal administrative in total, then yung for the past 5 years, and a copy of the memorandum as well. Gusto po natin strong, robust yung capabilities na makapag provide ng protections to these witnesses so as to ensure that the case may integrity siya, it can go moving forward despite yung napakaraming alam natin ability ng mga nasa in positions of power to be able to intimidate these witnesses into silence. Is that possible po ba, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor?
Mr. Speaker, according to the Office of the Ombudsman, they will provide, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor. My next question po is in relation po sa mga napaabot to this representation ng mga cases, no, violations on due process rights, human rights na naranasan ng kabataan by police, military officials that they want to pursue further action with the Ombudsman. Some of them have filed cases already with the Office of the Ombudsman. So, ang gusto ko pong tanong din, kasi this representation is only aware of so much, how many cases involving military and police personnel in relation to atrocities committed by civilians are pending with the Office of the Ombudsman? How many po dito ang dismissed na? And how many are resolved recommending the filing of criminal charges? And ilan po din dito yung na-resolve by imposing administrative sanctions?
So, for cases, Mr. Speaker, for cases under the division of the Moleo, cases which may be considered as violation of human rights, the number of pending cases as of date is at 68.
68.
As for the number of disposition, I would just get the data from the Office of the Ombudsman.
Yes, but we can wait po, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor.
So, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, there are different administrative sanctions imposed. So, dismissal from service, there are 9. Those who are suspended for more than 1 month, there are 20. Those who are suspended for 1 month or less, there are 5. Demoted, there are none. Fined, 7. And those who are reprimanded, there are 2. Case dismissed. Admonished, there are 15. And as for the case dismissed in the Moleo, it's at 145.
45. So if I'm correct, Mr. Speaker, for these trends, no, sa variations ng mga resolutions, mas marami ang dismissed.
Based on the numbers, that is the case, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague.
This representation would also like to and to clarify po, these are cases involving military and police personnel in relation to violations of human rights.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague. It
Okay.
is.
This representation would also like to request the copy of this data. Pero further than that, we'd like to request specific updates to cases that are involving youth po, no? And meron pong, we are aware of a case filed against members of the 4th and SP 4th Infantry Battalion because meron pong hanunuo Mangyan resident of Oriental Mindoro which filed a complaint with the Office of the Ombudsman against several officials therein. One of the respondents includes Major General Roberto Capulong, Lieutenant Colonel Yago, and more, no, because they are implicated in the tragic killing of 21-year-old J.L. Maligday during a military operation in Sitio Suryawon, Barangay Nasukob, Bulalakaw, Oriental Mindoro last April 7, 2024. Kiniklaim nila that this 21-year-old, this youth, no, member daw po siya ng NPA, but the Maligday family and their community leaders strongly dispute this narrative. Ano pong update sa, well, that's one that we'd like to ask for an update. The second one po, on July 29, no, there is a case filed with the Office of the Ombudsman. Na-dismiss po from the Office of the Ombudsman ang case filed by Haley Pecayo and JP Garcia against 59th IB officers. That is because these officers filed a fabricated case using the Anti-Terrorism Act to then 19-year-old Haley Pecayo, which was later dismissed by the courts. Right now, as I understand, the case, no, that has been dismissed by the Office of the Ombudsman is under appeal. Pwede po bang makahingi ng updates with these two cases po?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, they're just taking the status of the case. We will provide your office of the status of the cases, Mr. Speaker.
Would it be possible if the update can be provided by this week po ba? To my good sponsor?
They are confirming that they can provide for this week, dear colleague, Mr. Sponsor.
Thank you very much. We look forward to this update because it is alarming to me that the youth, no, ang kabataan, they're under attack, no, by police, military personnel. They're going to the Office of the Ombudsman with these grievances para po ma-ensure na protected yung rights nila. They see accountability from what they see, no? And they have full legal arguments na unfounded po yung claims na to, and these are violations, no, ng kanilang mga karapatan. And with na-share nga na trend that there are more cases dismissed than kahit i-total po to lahat, no, yung dismissal from service, suspended, mas marami pa rin po ang nadidismiss. So, we look forward to that report this week, no, to Mr. Speaker, my good sponsor, in relation po this. My next question po is in relation po doon um, sa complaints filed by two complaints filed by Nympha Lanzanas against Colonel Lito Patay and Colonel Marcos for what we call, no, this representation calls the Bloody Sunday massacre, kung saan may mga maraming na aresto, may maraming namatay, no. In December 2022, at least 11 police officers face a complaint with the ombudsman in relation to this operation where it was said, no, joint police and military operations ordered to neutralize activists and unionists. May update din po ba dito, to my good sponsor?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, they are going to look at the status of the case and they will provide the Office of Honorable Reneco of the status of said case.
Thank you. We will look forward to that as well. Matagal na rin po na pinagpapanawagan namin yung hustisya with what happened with the Bloody Sunday massacre. Marami pong mga aktivista, meron din pong mga civilian caught in the crossfire na namatay, na aresto in relation to what is supposedly yung constitutional exercise of rights and freedoms, pero ito po yung treatment pabalik sa kanila. My last question po to the good sponsor ay a pronouncement by the ex-ombudsman Samuel Martirez. He said po that he said there are certain cases that are dismissed due to the reason that there is no law that prohibits red tagging. The recent development last year po is now there is a Supreme Court case ruling that in the Duyo versus Binoya that red tagging, which is what we call when individuals are labeled as communists or terrorists without basis by state forces, that is a threat po to a person's right to life, liberty, or security, thus making it a valid ground for the issuance of a writ of amparo. Can I ask po the Office of the Ombudsman through the good sponsor, how committed is the Office of the Ombudsman in complying and adhering to the ruling of the Supreme Court in pursuing cases of red tagging by public officials towards activists, no? Given that there is now this Supreme Court case?
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, as long as there is a Supreme Court case, it is the law of the land. So the Ombudsman will comply with any with regards to that matter. Mr. Speaker, dear colleague.
As we speak now po kasi, Mr. Speaker, my good sponsor, there are public officials, police, military, those elected, no, turn to red tagging to be able to silence dissent. No? Will the Office of the Ombudsman actively entertain cases against on red tagging complaints that implicate public officials and investigate them as part of its mandate to protect the people against abuse of power by the government?
According to the Office of the Ombudsman, Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, as they're going to actively entertain such cases as long as there is another law or another crime involved, because according to the Office of the Ombudsman, there's still no law or crime which defines red tagging. But since there is a Supreme Court case, they would look into that as for the guidelines on how to treat such red tagging cases. They could adopt a procedure to maybe look into it on how they will entertain such cases.
Mr. Speaker, my good sponsor, hindi po ba sufficient na yung Supreme Court case on De Duro versus Vinoya, which says no clearly that red tagging is a threat to life, liberty, and security, which makes it a valid ground for the issuance of a writ of amparo, no, to be able to pursue against cases similarly na ginagawa ito ng mga public officials.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleague, it is enough, but since the Supreme Court said it is a threat, so they can consider it as a crime of threat, not red tagging per se, since there is no red tagging crime, but for threat they can entertain such cases.
Thank you very much for that commitment. No, we will look forward to it and maasahan sana natin na ang bawat piso na binibigay po sa Office of the Ombudsman ay magamit para maprotektahan ang mga mamamayan sa mga abuso ng mga pampublikong opisyal na ginagamit yung kanilang kapangyarihan para sa sariling ganansya. To that end, Mr. Speaker, my good sponsor, I no longer have any other questions. And as we are aware na wala na pong iba pang interpellators, I would like to move to terminate the interpellation of the Office of the Ombudsman. No? And syempre gusto rin natin ma-receive yung data that is requested by my colleagues at the soonest time, no, para po ma-maintain yung gantong motion. So moved po, Mr. Speaker.
There was a motion to terminate the budget of the Office of the Ombudsman. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, on the part of the majority, we join the minority in the motion to terminate the interpellations on the proposed budget of the Office of the Ombudsman, Mr. Speaker.
There being no objection, said motion is now approved.
I move to
Majority
suspend
Leader.
session for a few minutes, Mr. Speaker.
Session suspended.
Ang boss Mike. Sir, let's have a picture with the sponsor. Boss, come.
Pero sila mag-acknowledge ng testator. Dodge, ikaw? Wala eh. 20 minutes na umiihi si Jay eh. Umiihi. 20 minutes na umiihi.
Ako naman din sa judiciary. Marvin. Kita, kami pa mga justice. Thank you. Talaga bilip ako kay Mika talaga. Oh. Ikaw ba? Tayo na natin sa dali. Gagaling nito nandito. Oh. Galing sa kasal lang.
Kung si dyan ka. Picture na kayo? May picture ba? Wala na. Session will now resume.
Mr.
Majority
Speaker,
Leader.
I now move to consider the proposed budget of the judiciary.
Is there any objection? Hearing none. Motion approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we acknowledge the presence of the justices, heads, and officials from the judiciary. Namely, we have with us today, Associate from the Supreme Court, Associate Justice Joseph Lopez, Associate Justice Raul Villanueva, Court Administrator Maria Teresa Dolores Gomez Estoesta, Assistant Court Administrator Lilian Baribalco. From the Sandigan Bayan, we have Presiding Justice Geraldine Faith Ekong, Associate Justice Bayani Jacinto, Associate Justice Hener Guito. From the Court of Appeals, we have Presiding Justice Fernanda Lampas Peralta, Associate Justice Florencio Mamauag Jr., and from the Court of Tax Appeals, we have Acting Presiding Justice Catherine Manahan and Associate Justice Corazon Ferrer Flores. Mr. Speaker.
We'd like to welcome our guest from the Supreme Court, Associate Justice Joseph Lopez, Associate Justice Raul Villanueva, Court Administrator Maria Teresa Dolores C. Gomez Estoesta, Assistant Court Administrator Lilian C. Baribalco. From the Sandigan Bayan, Presiding Justice Geraldine Faith Ekong, Associate Justice Bayani H. Jacinto, Associate Justice Hener M. Guito. From the Court of Appeals, Presiding Justice Fernanda Lampas Peralta, Associate Justice Florencio Mamawag Jr. From the Court of Tax Appeals, Acting Presiding Justice Catherine T. Manahan and Associate Justice Corazon Ferrer Flores. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, for the purpose of answering questions and defending the proposed budget of the judiciary, I move to recognize the distinguished gentleman from the 2nd District of Cagayan de Oro City, the City of Golden Friendship, the eloquent, the prolific, the Representative Rufus Bautista Rodriguez, Mr. Speaker.
We'd like to recognize.
Thank you, Majority Leader.
We'd like to recognize the prolific gentleman from Cagayan, Honorable Rufus Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, our justices of the judiciary, officials of the judiciary. It is my honor today to sponsor the budget of the judiciary for fiscal year 2026, amounting to originally 67.94 billion, inclusive of the automatic appropriations. In terms of new appropriations, which is subject to congressional approval, the total budget of the judiciary amounts to 67.77 billion, which represents an increase of 5.88 or 3.65 billion higher than fiscal year 2025 budget of 62.12. And the judiciary thanks our Committee on Appropriations because it has increased this budget by the amount of 1.317 billion yesterday. And now the new total for the judiciary is 69.27 billion. Mr. Speaker, in terms of strategic plan for judicial innovations, SPJI 2022 to 2027, initiated by the Supreme Court of the Republic of the Philippines, led by the Honorable Chief Justice Alexander G. Hesmundo. And now on its third year, the judiciary is implementing concrete, measurable reforms. The judiciary is launching the Philippine Judiciary Platform and e-court PH, expanding e-payments, strengthening systems like the Bar Applicant Registration Information System and the Tech Assistance or Barista for the bar examinations. The Judicial and Bar Council JBC online registration, an application system ORAS, ORAS, a mandatory continuing legal education MCLE program, and help desk and document request portals, and modernizing courthouses all over the country with case management tools, innovations to reduce timelines, eliminate red tape, and bring justice closer to the Filipino people. These are not just ideas, they are active systems improving the delivery of justice system today. In view of the foregoing, Mr. Speaker, I urge my dear colleagues to join me in supporting the proposed budget of the judiciary for fiscal year 2026. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This representation is now ready to answer questions from our colleagues. Daghang salamat.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the representative from the Lone District of Dinagat Islands, Representative Kaka Bagao. Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Representative is now recognized. You may proceed, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Maing buntag
May buntag
from the City of Golden Friendship.
from the Paradise Island of Dinagat.
You know, okay, thank you po. Sir, I was listening to the presentation of the Supreme Court during the committee hearings, and I see that the management of the funds was very efficient. That's why I'm a little bit saddened to see that even if there is an adjustment in the budget, they're still lacking of more or less 40% on the total budget of the Supreme Court. I would just like to know what will be the impact of the short budget, short of 40% budget that the Supreme Court will require to perform its mandate and to deliver its programs.
Thank you, our representative from the island paradise of Dinagat Island. Thank you for your question. Indeed, based on the request of the judiciary, we now have a request of the total request for the judiciary for all the courts amounts to
105.75 billion, sir.
Thank you. So what's that again? 100?
105.76 billion.
Yes,
And
it is right here.
yes.
Let's focus on this. 105.6 billion. May we know the pleasure of our representative from Dinagat Island?
So my question, sir, what will be the impact of the cut, considering that it's still more or less around 40% of what was requested by the Supreme Court.
That's correct. 105.76B minus what we are giving, including the 1.3 of 69 billion, we still have the amount of 45 billion that is needed. And so therefore, we really urge our colleagues to be able to give support to the judiciary, the bulwark of democracy in this country. We therefore would request that additional budget be given aside from the 1.3 billion. And we are going to certainly give to the committee the final, we cannot give the entire 45 billion, but we will ask the court administrator and the Supreme Court to be able to also represent the needs of the other courts, which are so important. And that is why we have here the request, and we have a request for reconsideration of 25. So we have gone down from 45. We are requesting an addition of total of 37.81 billion, meaning we are asking for reconsideration of this honorable body of 21.76 billion for the Supreme Court and other Supreme Court of the Philippines and lower courts. It's called SCP, LC, Supreme Court of the Philippines and lower court, is for consideration 21 billion. For the Presidential Electoral Tribunal, 2 million. For the Court of Appeals, a big body of distinguished gentlemen and justices, 2.69 billion. And for the Sandigan Bayan, consideration for 509.87 million. And the Court of Tax Appeal with 365.53 million, or a total request, Your Honor, of 25.33 billion. That is the current request of our judiciary.
Thank you, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. My next line of questionings, I would just like to emphasize the areas where the budget will be needed, and if there are already allocations for this. Nung September 17 po kasi 2025 at around 8:15 p.m. in his residence in San Jose, Puerto Princesa, Palawan, Attorney Joshua Abrina was shot dead. He is already 8th dead officer of the court since 2022. And some of them, aside from Attorney Joshua, is Bai Maceda Lidasan Abo in 2025, Junisa Kimamaw, March 17, 2025, Ibrahim Pendato in March 17, 2025, Prosecutor Eleanor de la Peña in June 10, 2024, Maria Saniata Alzabe, September 14, 2023, Elmer Mape, August 22, 2023, Alberto Magulta in June 15, 2025. Justice Leonen said it is a grave matter that strikes at the very core of justice and must never be taken lightly. In fact, the Chief Justice directed the Chief Marshal and Deputy Marshal for Luzon to contact the relevant investigative and law enforcement agencies to separately obtain updates regarding this incident so that the court is provided with the necessary information. And very recently, Republic Act 1691 was created and was enacted, creating the Office of the Judiciary Marshal. But surprisingly, you need, I think, to fill in 1,043 positions to perform the duties of the Office of the Judiciary Marshals. Considering the number of deaths of the officer of the court, sir, how will this, the lack of personnel still, no 1,043, impact on the safety and efficiency of the implementation of RA 11691 and safety of our officers of the court, especially the judges and other officers of the court?
Thank you, distinguished colleague. We note sadly the murder of our fellow lawyers. And certainly, the Supreme Court is really trying to have the court martials 1,043 positions to be created to make sure that there is deterrence and protection and prevention of further infliction of harm on our judiciary and our lawyers. And so the request of the judiciary, the Supreme Court, is for the positions of 1,043 in the office of the Judiciary Marshals, OJM, is 710 million. Unfortunately, this has not been included in the 255 reallocation of the 255 billion from the flood control. So that is the present situation, Mr. Speaker.
So, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, what will be the impact considering that there will be no budget allocation for this requirement for 2026, especially to protect the officers of the court, considering that we still need to hire more than 1,000 marshals?
The impact, Mr. Speaker, is that there will be less or no protection of most of our members of the judiciary. And that is why it is very vital that in these proceedings, we are able to restore the request of 710 million for 1,043 positions for the office of the judicial marshals.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this point, I would just like to express my support. This is a priority considering that there have been a lot of reported killings by the officers of the court to our fellow lawyers with no protection at all. My next question would be on online hearings. I would just like to know, sir, if in the conduct of online hearings, which is very important, no, it expedites proceedings, and it makes sure that postponement of hearings or resetting of hearings are avoided. Is there enough budget for this item? And do you have the data, sir, on the efficiency of the conduct of online hearings, especially on the first and second level courts?
Yes, precisely. The Supreme Court has been doing its best with a limited budget to be able to have video conferencing or trials so that this will be able to have our hearings on video conferencing. This is good for the witnesses, good for the lawyers, and really excellent for our judiciary. And that is why on our video conference hearing reports, VCH, reporting period May 20 to September 8, 2025, the total video conference hearings conducted from 2022 to September of this year, we had 1,644,209 video conference hearings. Of this, total criminal case hearing through video conference is 1.5 million. Total civil case hearing by video conference is 103,000. Successful hearings that we had on this is 1,488,000. There was a failed hearing for 130,000. There were interruptions of 17,335. The success rate, Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleague, the success rate of video conferencing in this country so far is 90.50% successful in proceeding with hearings under the scheme of video conferencing.
But my question, sir, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, is that is there enough allocation to pursue these types of online hearings? And maybe my follow-up there would be, can we get a copy of the data
Yes.
on the rates so that we can also share in the other jurisdictions as well, no? Especially in the provinces where this is highly encouraged. And so eventually my question would be,
I'll just answer that. Yes, we're going to give you now
okay,
the
thank you, sir.
data on video conferencing. Thank you very much.
And is there enough allocation for the conduct of online hearings?
Thank you for that question because we are leading to that. So right now, the budget is for online video conferencing. In the NEP, National Expenditure Program, we only have 450 million. So that cannot carry to the entire Philippine archipelago of 7,640 islands. And that is why we want our courts, even the far-flung courts, to be having already video conferencing, and this will entail the purchase of equipment, the Wi-Fi, and everything. So the request, distinguished colleague, Mr. Speaker, is an additional 450 million. And that will be a total of 900 million that can push this implementation to the other courts which are not yet reached by video conferencing procedure.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor. It seems that there are a lot of efficient areas in the administration of justice by the Supreme Court that needs additional support. I'm sure we want to give them more, but maybe they may need to prioritize the particular line items that we will be pushing for more support for the Supreme Court, especially the more efficient programs that we have implemented. And I was looking at the data that you were providing me. Thank you so much. The impact of the efficiency of online hearings that will seek to avoid a lot of postponements and postponement of hearings, of courts, sir.
Thank you, my distinguished colleague. Yes, in fact, while the Bar Cs and the Committee on Appropriations had not included this, but we gave additional 1.3 billion, but more is needed. Precisely, we will have a period of institutional and personal amendments of the period of amendments to be done in this plenary. And in that proper time, I am now requesting the judiciary with the court administrator, Justice Estuesta, to give us what are still lacking in terms of priority. We have to prioritize the needs of the Supreme Court of the Philippines and lower courts, the Sandigan Bayan, the Court of Appeals, the Court of Tax Appeals, and then also the PAT. So, yes.
Do we already have, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, specific proposal for prioritization of specific line items that will highlight and will emphasize the efficient services that have been already provided and will be provided by the Supreme Court that needs more support?
Yes, in fact, they have written to the chairperson, the Honorable Mika Swansing, and to this representation. We have requested that there is this letter, and we have the Supreme Court has requested 24 billion, and then the others also. Court of Tax Appeals is 2.6 billion. Court of Appeals is 2.6 billion. Sandigan Bayan is 509 million. Court of Tax Appeals is 369 billion. Yes.
But siguro, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, we will need to get more detailed line
We will be
item,
giving that, in fact,
prioritization.
since this is quite big. At 28 billion, we have limited fiscal space. We are going to ask the judiciary and all the courts to give us a priority. It may not be 26 billion, but some figures which are clear priorities of each of the offices
Yes.
that are part of the judiciary. Thank you,
Thank
distinguished
you.
colleague.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Sponsor, my next question is on access to justice by the poor. And I'm sure this has been a favorite topic during the committee hearings.
Yes.
But I would like to focus more on its impact on access to justice by the poor. Republic Act 12032, which was passed on October 17, 2024, created additional 3 branches of the Regional Trial Court in the 10th Judicial Region to be stationed in the municipality of San Jose in the province of Dinagat Islands. I'm asking this question not only because I'm from Dinagat, but I am very concerned of geographically isolated and displaced areas where no available courts and access of the litigants. Sir, there is only one court, one RTC court in an island like that, which is branch 32, but it is located in the city. So the litigants of that island will have to travel by boat to attend court hearings. And that's also, you can imagine the difficulty of apprehensions that are being made and to bring them to courts that has to travel by sea. And does that imagine also if there are big waves and storms and there are hearings of the litigants. However, sir, up to today, there is still no court there. Branch 32 is still in Surigao City. There are 2 municipal circuit trial courts that has been established. But our concern is for in island provinces like this, the poor will most probably be not interested at all in pursuing their case because not only of the financial difficulty that they will encounter in making sure that they are able to litigate their cases, but also to the interest, to maintain the interest in pursuing their cases, considering not only the distance, but also the difficulty of understanding the processes of the court. So I would like to know if compliance with Republic Act 12030 has been made or will be made. And being the former governor of that province, sir, we have a lot of difficulties bringing litigants, both petitioners and accused and defendants, in bringing them to the city just to attend court hearings. So was there already compliance of this law 12032?
Mr.
Considering
Speaker,
also,
we
Mr.
fully support.
I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, considering that we are already on our 19th year of existence, but we still have no court in the province.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague. We fully support the establishment of 3 courts as established in Republic Act 12032 for the island paradise of Dinagat Islands. I invite all of you to go there on behalf of our representative. And we are happy to inform everyone that indeed branches 57, 58, 59 for the RTC of Dinagat Islands is already, the JBC is now open to receive recommendations, and they will soon be able to vet all the applicants. And certainly the Supreme Court commits that once we already have the appointment, the 3 courts will be opened ASAP.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for that update, Mr. Sponsor. But my question is, will the Supreme Court have the allocation to establish physically the court in the province? I know that they can immediately establish the courts, but the physical structure that will handle or all the three courts for the as regional trial courts is also needed in the delivery of justice.
Yes, in fact, the first process is to be able for the JBC to already interview the applicants and then be able to recommend to the president for appointment. Once there is an appointment, the process will start. And then we are going to ask for funds to be able to physically open that either first through rental or through the establishment of buildings in Dinagat Island. Because those who are far from law should have more law. And Dinagat Island is far. Paraphrasing former President Ramon Magsaysay, those who have less in life should have more in law. I would like to amend that. Those who have less in life should have more. More of everything. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So amended na ang President Magsaysay's statement.
Yes, Mr. Sponsor. But I would like to be clarified lang po on this point. Whether I know that the possibility of renting, etc., but is there a space in the allocation that will already establish the physical court there? Because when I was governor during the COVID time, there was already a discussion on the construction of a court in the province, but that stopped. I don't know what happened. And I would just like to be updated on the status of that. I'm asking this because I know there are still other provinces and far-flung provinces where their litigants, especially the poor, have difficulties in filing cases and following up their cases. So I think it's very important.
We assure the former governor of Dinagat Island, now Representative back. She's back with us. She was with us in the previous Congress. That certainly we will we request the JBC to fast track the interview and the recommendation. At the same time, the Supreme Court will now look for funds to be able to have the physical structure be done in Dinagat Islands for the 3 RTC branches in our Dinagat Island, 3 of them.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, and I would like also for the judiciary to be mindful of other islands and other far-flung provinces who are similarly situated. However, I am very confident that our sponsor, our idol, Congressman Rodriguez, will definitely be able to defend the budget. And I would like to join as an officer also of the court in supporting the budget that will be required by the Supreme Court. Most of my questions are actually priority programs of the Supreme Court that needs support. So I am one with the Supreme Court in making sure, and you are very efficient in using your budget. So I support the budget of the Supreme Court. That will be all, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the judiciary, we would like to thank the Honorable Representative Kaka Bagao of the Dinagat Islands Island Paradise for your support for the budget, support not only of the present budget, but to increase the budget so that we can be able to implement the request, the dispensation of justice to the entire country. Thank you very much, distinguished colleague. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpolate the sponsor, I move to recognize from Party List Akbayan, Representative Jose Manuel Tadeo Chel Jokno.
The representative from Akbayan, Representative Chel Jokno is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, honorable sponsor. It's always a pleasure to have a conversation with you. Good morning as well to the judiciary and the members of the judiciary family. I believe the honorable sponsor would recall that in the hearing that we had on September 16, I had requested for the list of aging cases that have been pending in the Sandigan Bayan, some for 20 years, some for over 30 years. including a summary of what cases are involved, the amount of government funds involved, and the reasons for delay. May I know, Your Honor, if the list is available?
Yes, first of all, thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, the illustrious son of an illustrious statesman of our country, the late Senator Jose Wright Diokno. And we have here the status of cases which have been, the year it has been filed, and the present status. So right now, this is the report of our presiding justice, Geraldine Faith Ikong. And now we have here, there's a list. Not so many. I'm counting about 10 cases now. Only 10 cases. Would you like us to read this, or we would like to receive a copy of this? Because it starts with July 29, 1987. You are right, Your Honor. And this is about Republic versus Maria Remedios Argana et al. Then we have also case number 0010, Republic versus Ferdinand A. Marcos et al., civil in nature, 1987. Would you like me to read the others?
Just if I may be provided with the copy.
To be provided.
Your Honor.
Right now, we provide you only 10 cases, and we are therefore going to provide you this, and we will certainly urge the Sandigan Bayan to make sure that I think that is what you would be asking for, to write finish to these cases.
Yes,
Thank you.
Honorable Sponsor. In fact, as I had requested, not only for the 10 cases, but if I recall, there were 10 civil cases pending since 1987, around more than 10 cases pending for more than 20 years, and around 242 cases pending before the Sandigan Bayan for more than 10 years.
Yes.
I was requesting for the information about those cases because I am concerned, and I would like to ask, in fact, what we can do, what Congress can do to support the Sandigan Bayan so that these cases can be fast-tracked and resolved as quickly as possible. So if I may request the expanded list
Yes.
to be provided.
We will give you the expanded list of all pending since 1987. And just to inform you that many of these pending cases are post-judgment, meaning my MR, there are other motions, and then my auction sale pa, it lengthens the proceedings. But most of them have already been decided on its merit. So the post-judgment action of the litigants. But we are going to give you, now we're going to give you these 10, and we will give you the others as you have requested, the Honorable. Thank you, distinguished colleague.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Your Honor. Thank you, Presiding Justice of the Sandigan Bayan. Just on that same point, if I may, sir, may I know what the courts, the judiciary, not just the Sandigan Bayan, but the Supreme Court, is planning as far as fast-tracking corruption cases? We know that this is now very much part of our national conversation, and we want these cases to be resolved as quickly as possible. We know that the longer a corruption case takes, the harder it is to hold the persons involved accountable. And we want to support, on the part of the Congress, any mechanisms that could be put in place to fast-track corruption cases, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Precisely, the Sandigan Bayan is now crafting new rules to shorten the trial in the Sandigan Bayan. They're now looking at only 120 days. And so we'll furnish our distinguished colleague once the Sandigan Bayan promulgates the new rules, especially on the issues of corruption, on the flood control allegations that we have in the present time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Sponsor. I just have a few more questions. At the last hearing as well, on September 16, I queried the Honorable Court Administrator about whether there is a monitoring system to ensure that those who are convicted by final judgment are actually serving their sentence. And I recall the honorable sponsor also followed up on my query because we feel that this is something that has to be done, not only, and this would involve not just the Supreme Court, but the different agencies that would involve the Office of the Ombudsman, the Sandigan Bayan, even the Bureau of Corrections. First question, if I may, honorable sponsor, is this included in the current budget request of the judiciary?
Thank you. First of all, to answer the first question, yes, there is a Justice Sector Coordinating Council. Precisely because after there is a decision and there is a judgment of conviction and there's an order including penalties of imprisonment, the honorable gentleman would like to have a monitoring of those who have been convicted so that they surely go to jail. So therefore, we have this, and the court administrator is saying that they will soon convene this one again precisely to make sure that there are now new rules to monitor the convicted accused, that they will properly serve their sentence. So that will be given also to our distinguished representative.
Thank you for that. I am aware of the Justice Sector Coordinating Council. Perhaps I know this may not be able to be done within this budget cycle, but I believe that perhaps in the coming budget cycles next year, we could establish a permanent database, a permanent monitoring system involving the different agencies that would ensure that those who are convicted by final judgment actually serve their sentences. I am particularly concerned about corruption cases, again, because this involved the people's money, and we want to make sure that there is real accountability and punishment for those involved, Mr. Sponsor.
Thank you once again. We appreciate that suggestion, and we are of notice that precisely there has to be a report on the status of the implementation. But let me just inform this honorable august body that we indeed have a budget for 2026 for the Justice Sector Convergence Program. But the problem is that they were reduced from the proposal of 475 million, they were only given 175 million. And so they are requesting for the balance of 157 million to be restored so that there will be full monitoring and full reports of those who are convicted, especially in corruption cases, to be published and to be seen that they are indeed implemented. So we thank you, and we ask the sponsor to help us, our distinguished colleague to help us restore this budget for the Justice Sector Convergence Program. Thank you.
Definitely, Mr. Speaker, definitely, Mr. Sponsor. Thank you. I have no more questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We certainly thank again Representative Chel Diokno for his interpellation, which makes sure that there is really not only dispensation of justice, but implementation of justice. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Minute suspension, Mr. Speaker.
Session suspended. Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpolate the sponsor, I move to recognize from Party List Act Teachers, Representative Antonio Tino.
Representative Antonio L. Tino of ACT Teachers Party List recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to the sponsor.
Good morning.
Mr. Speaker, I just have one very particular concern. This has to do with the implementation of the Filipino Sign Language Law. I raised this already during the budget briefing of the judiciary. no? And so the Filipino Sign Language law mandates that the judiciary, the courts, make available Filipino Sign Language interpreters to the deaf, no, who are in the courts or who are in one way or other in transacting with the legal system. Okay. And I was told that the judiciary has already come up with implementing rules and regulations in this regard. I also asked the budgetary requirement needed in order to implement, and I was told the amount was 50 million pesos. Okay. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, I am part of the Committee on Appropriations, the deliberations on the budget amendments, and looking at the amendments, the additional budget that the committee has included in the current General Appropriations Bill, hindi po kasama yung 50 million. No? So, Mr. Speaker, pwede po bang habulin natin, no? Or makuha ang suporta ng sponsor, no? Para sa dagdag na amyenda na ito? 50 million pesos lang po ang pinag-uusapan natin. In the grand scheme of things, this is literally a rounding error. No? So, can we get the commitment of the sponsor that these 50 million pesos will be included in the budget of the judiciary? Para naman po, finally, ilang taon na po nag-iintay ang ating Filipino deaf community, that at least the justice system will in this way ensure accessibility and inclusiveness for the Filipino deaf.
Mr. Speaker, we thank the honorable representative from ACT Teachers, the Representative Tony Tino. Certainly, this representation together with the judiciary intends to really secure this small amount of 50 million so that the law that implements and mandates the Filipino Sign Language in courts will be implemented with the budget to hire interpreters for the Filipino language. And so therefore, in this open assembly, we would pledge that we are going to work. In fact, we will request that the judiciary include this in this priority, and this representation will write a separate letter for 50 million inclusion to the Honorable Mika Sonsing and Majority Leader Sandro Marcos. Thank you, distinguished colleague.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. With that very firm commitment from our distinguished sponsor, I end my interpellation. Thank you po.
Majority Leader.
Thank you. Before our dear friend goes, our thanks. The judiciary is thanking Congressman Tino because of his support and his request, a very valid one. This is an implementation of law, and we don't want another law without funds to implement. And so thank you very much, Representative Tino, for your intervention. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpolate, I move to recognize from party list APEC, the Honorable Sergio Dagoc.
Representative Sergio C. Dagoc of APEC Party List is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader. I am not interpolating my fellow Mindanaoan, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Mahirap interpolate tong tao na to kasi palaging pare-pareho kami ng idea. So I am just here, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor, to manifest my support to the budget of the judiciary, especially to the budget on utilities, which will settle the accounts of the courts, electricity account. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you, Judiciary family.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the judiciary, we thank the Honorable Sergio Dagoc from the island paradise of dinagat ang samahin ko eh. Siargao, Siargao. Because, Mr. Speaker, he has been helping pay the obligations of the courts in the Siargao Island. So we thank you and we assure you the judiciary will make sure that we are going to pay all the outstanding obligations on utilities so that you will not be paying anymore your own money to help the judiciary in Siargao Island. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpret the sponsor, I move to recognize from party list ML, the Honorable Laila De Lima.
The Honorable Laila De Lima of ML Party List is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished sponsor, I also rise today to manifest my full support for the proposed budget of the judiciary for fiscal year 2026. I do not wish to add to more questions because I asked already certain questions during the committee hearing on the judiciary budget. Let me just emphasize, the judiciary is a co-equal branch of government and the final guardian of the rule of law. It safeguards the rights and liberties of our people and serves as a cornerstone of our democratic system. By supporting this budget, we are not simply allocating funds to a government branch, but making a vital investment in the credibility of our justice system, in the integrity of our democracy, and ensuring that justice will neither be delayed nor denied to our people. As mentioned earlier, NEP for the budget for the judiciary, as indicated in the NEP for 2026, is 65.768 billion. The original agency proposal for 2026 was 105.76 billion, hence a huge cut of 37.81 billion. After the Bar C consideration, this was an additional amount was given to judiciary. That's 1.317 billion, and this represents the creation of new positions in the offices of the regional court managers, the creation of new positions in the offices of the Chief Justice and Associate Justices, and the purchase of ICT equipment. If I have my way, Mr. Speaker, and the distinguished sponsor, and if it's still within the fiscal space, I would suggest that we take a look again at the list of the items that were part when the judiciary sought reconsideration of a subtotal amount of 21.76 billion. From Barsi, it was increased, or it was added only 1.317 billion. So if we can ask the judiciary and tell us the other prioritized items in their original proposed budget, which we can still add, subject, of course, to the feasibility within the fiscal space. So that's all, Mr. Speaker and distinguished sponsor. Again, I express my manifestation of support for the budget of the judiciary for fiscal year 2026. Thank you. Good morning.
Mr. Speaker, we would like to thank the former chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights, the former Secretary of Justice, the former Senator of the Republic of the Philippines, no less than our good friend, Laila De Lima. Thank you so much for your big support for the judiciary.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpret the sponsor, I move to recognize from the 2nd District of Pangasinan, the Honorable Mark Cobanco.
The Honorable Mark Cobanco is now recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I have a question for the Court of Appeals and also the Supreme Court. Recently, a case involving the precautionary principle was lost by the government. And this had to do with the writ of kalikasan on golden rice and BT talong. Mr. Speaker, the golden rice was being planted in my district. A lot of golden rice. This was the rice that we were planting to gift. This representation was planting to gift to the people. So that was interrupted. BT talong was also a means to lessen flooding your fields with insecticides so that the talong could be harvested. BT talong would have gone a long way to reducing greatly, if not eliminating, all pesticides in the culture of talong. My question is, how do we make it so that the precautionary principle is not abused? Because it's very hard to win against the precautionary principle. It's all encompassing and it covers everything. Do we make a law, or do we make a law about the precautionary principle, or do we make a law that says BT talong and golden rice are legal? Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, to the distinguished representative of Tarlac, Marco.
Pangasinan po.
Pangasinan. Sorry, Pangasinan. The precautionary rule as promulgated by the Court of Appeals state that when there is no scientific certainty as to the safety of a product or activity, the same shall be prohibited. However, Mr. Speaker, our distinguished Chairman, Mark, they await Congress to be able to pass a law and then implementing rules so that this precautionary rule may be able to be given a second look. And because Congress has the plenary powers to make law, then they are able to implement what is the policy given by Congress. We indeed see the importance of the rice and the talong that is being planted in Pangasinan. However, according to the Court of Appeals, the precautionary rule states really there has to be a scientific basis to say that a product is safe. However, they are very much willing to be able to have the Congress come out, because Congress can also be able to be the one that will invite experts to assure everyone, as there are now many areas in the country that are also planting BT corn, also the modified rice. However, there has to be a policy from Congress. That is what the Court of Appeals would like to request.
Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, this representation is aware of the voluminous amount of scientific work done to ensure the safety of these products. Furthermore, we are planting and importing BT corn regularly. So we are already using BT products in animal feeds all over the Philippines. But I will not belabor the point, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor. I would just like to invite the good sponsor to join me in authoring bills so that we could address this issue more properly, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, gladly, I always support our Chairman Mark. And this bill to clarify the safeness of these modified agricultural products will certainly be able to invite the scientific experts and all scientific papers so that we can craft a law. I will sign immediately the bill of Chairman Mark Huangco.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, our distinguished
I
colleague.
support the budget of the judiciary.
The
We
more
need-
I'm going to sign the bill, Mr.
We need
Speaker.
a strong judiciary for a first-rate country. Thank you po.
Thank you, Chairman Mark Huangco. Thank you so much. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpolate once again, may we move to recognize from party list ML the Honorable Laila de Lima.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Laila de Lima is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, the distinguished sponsor. Mr. Speaker, I move to terminate the interpellation on the budget of the judiciary.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, on the part of the majority, we join the minority in the motion to terminate the interpellations on the proposed budget of the judiciary. Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The proposed budget of the judiciary is now approved.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you, our dear Speaker. On behalf of the judiciary, the men and women dispensing justice in our country, we thank you so much for the termination of the plenary hearing of the budget of the judiciary with a prayer that we add to what our minority leaders have requested so that we can have more dispensation of faster justice to our country. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Session suspended.
Motion to suspend, Mr. Speaker.
Session suspended.
Oh, ako kahapon.
Okay na, sir. Ng CA. Pinapakuha niya yung case number ko sa CA at kung kanino naka-pending, headless na send sa kanya. Hindi nagre-reklamo na ako. Sabi ko, ang tagal-tagal lang ako yung yung case ko. Sige na yan ang mga... Kung kanina, at kung kanina naka-assign.
All justices, pass here. Go to the
Gawin na natin yan. Ano magpapwede na?
AJ. AJ. Nerves. Problema sa NBI. NBI.